Yes, I think what we are seeing is more regulation coming and more enforcement actions. So corporations are facing a different environment, which is still in a state of flux, is changing, and they need to understand what the changes are and introduce relevant measures. I would say at the moment what we are seeing is the continuation of a trend that we have seen in the last several years with more regulation. At the moment obviously it is focusing on financial regulation, but we have seen obviously a lot of regulation in the past, in the recent past, for instance in the area of corruption, anti-bribery, and we are seeing more enforcement. At the same time, we, because of the financial crisis and the economic crisis, corporations are more exposed to enforcement actions because there is more temptation to do things that are not right. So typically there is more temptation, corporations are more tempted to pay bribes to be able to retain market share or gain market share, or executive directors may be tempted to do more doctoring to their accounts and will be more creative and do financial transactions that may not necessarily be beyond scrutiny. Obviously the safest course of action is avoid wrongdoing, which is a difficult thing to do in the sense that the sheer number of opportunities and the sheer number of people who can do wrong within a large corporation is such that corporations are bound in a way to face issues. Having said that, they need to minimize this opportunity for wrongdoing by introducing or updating their compliance program, creating or furthering a culture of compliance, of being good citizens, and take remedial actions whenever something goes wrong. Nevertheless, there will be situations in which they will be facing enforcement actions, and on that it is important to react rightly to those situations, which means conduct internal investigations, understand what has happened, take remedial action, develop a relationship with regulators in order to minimize the negative consequences for corporations, or even to draw benefits from a bad situation. Building the reputation, as is often said, is something that takes years and can be destroyed very quickly. So at the beginning is more trying to maintain your reputation or to reduce the damage to the reputation as much as possible. There are a number of ways to do that. Part of it can be public relations, but a lot of it is actually doing things in terms of cooperation with enforcement agencies, terminating staff that has done things wrong, introducing new systems to avoid the repetition of wrongdoing. And as I said, these situations can actually enhance the reputation of a corporation depending on how the corporation reacts to it. There are certainly a number of examples of corporations that, because they've bumped into wrongdoing, they've then reacted in a way that has actually enhanced their reputation and allowed them to develop more business, increase market share, be more credible with consumers. This, for instance, in the area of food safety, some companies have done great things to correct problems. Other companies have not handled that as well.